Welcome back, YouTubers, to another NXT review with me, Mr. Parkin, on behalf of the British Fist. A couple of things to get out of the way before I get onto this review. Firstly, make sure you go check out the D-Line podcast, which I will link in the description box below. Also, gear yourself up for February 27th, because that is going to be the day where NXT airs live on the WWE Network. So if you're going to spend your $9.99 a month on the WWE Network, get your money's worth out of it. And if you haven't watched NXT or you've wanted a reason to watch NXT, go watch this show on February 27th. It will be live, and there's going to be, I believe, 3 big matches on the show. 3, in my opinion. If NXT were going to do a pay-per-view, they would all be pay-per-view worthy, in my opinion. So make sure you check out NXT on the WWE Network when it comes. Also, if you have any comments on NXT or the show in general, please let me know down in the comment section below. In our opening match of NXT, we had Divas action, 6-person Divas action at that. Natalya, Bayley, and Emma versus Summer Rae, Sasha Banks, and Alicia Fox, who came out with Charlotte. You know, we haven't really seen too much of Charlotte in the ring yet, and I do wonder if that's some kind of injury, or there's a reason why she's not being in the ring, but, you know, it's just a little bit disappointing that we haven't really got to see too much of her in the ring after she did somewhat impress me with her gymnastic style when she first came into NXT as Ric Flair's daughter, of course. And apparently Alicia Fox is going for her initiation for induction into the BFS, which is kind of strange, because as Renee Young said on commentary, she's been a Divas champion before. Does she really need to be in this group? I'm just saying. And it should really have come as no surprise that the BFFs walked out on Alicia Fox during the match, allowing Emma to get the victory, which was necessary going into a match against Paige on the February 27th show. More on that later. I thought one of the more interesting things about this segment, because this segment, it was solid Divas action, but one of the more interesting things on this show right now is actually the dynamic forming between William Regal and Renee Young, kind of like semi-flirting on commentary. With Valentine's Day coming up, you knew they were going to push it up a notch on this show, brother. And just some of the stuff between Regal and Renee Young, and Alex Riley is in there like, why aren't you picking me over this 40-year-old? And she's like, dude, it's William Regal, which is exactly how a smart or some kind of mark for the business would actually react. As for the match between Paige and Emma, you know, it's a real shame that Paige has been injured and she's not there on the shows, because I would have really preferred it if they could actually hype up, you know, the match between Emma and Paige, you know, with them two in the ring. Maybe she'll make an appearance on the next couple of shows. I do not know. But if she doesn't, it'll be a shame, because they, you know, they could have really done a lot of good hype for this match, and she's not going to be there. So it's just a real shame. But on the other hand, Paige versus Emma on the February 27th show for the NXT Women's Championship should be a damn good match, in my opinion. And to be honest with you, I'd probably say at this point, Emma should win. Because Paige has been a very uneventful women's champion, in my opinion. It's just not necessarily her fault. It's just that Emma has gotten more popular. The Bayley character has gotten more popular. And the BFFs are, you know, just are involved in more storylines. There's more creative things you can do with them. It's not really Paige's fault. But I think the belt should really change hands, in my opinion, even though she'll only be just coming back from an injury. You know, I remember when I first saw Colin Cassidy wrestle as a jobber on FCW a couple of years ago, and I was thinking, man, this guy is just generic big guy. What the fuck are WWE or NXT gonna do with this guy? Well, it's amazing how you can put a gimmick on a guy, and it just, ever since he's been paired with Enzo Amore and he's been given a gimmick and he's been involved on TV and has been showing some personality, he's gone so much better, so much more entertaining. And it's just, you know, it's just like I saw the Colin Cassidy that I first saw, and now looking at Colin Cassidy, I'm like, man, you know, I would never have wanted to see this guy in a feud 2 years ago, but now I want to see him feud with all the heels on the damn roster. I really do. I mean, even if it, you know, even if I would prefer to see Enzo Amore, Colin Cassidy is the more serious competitor, so you can buy him beating a heel on the roster. You know, so this feud between Colin Cassidy and Aiden English has been building up for some time now, and to me, it's been a very interesting feud to watch. Some of the stuff they've done creatively with these two has been very interesting. So I was quite looking forward to the match. I would have thought they would have announced this in a week in advance, but we kind of just got it on the show. And, you know, and I really wanted to see a serious Colin Cassidy, as we've kind of seen a more funny, like, jokey Colin Cassidy, and we did get that in this match. It's just a shame, in my opinion, after all this build-up and everything, and the match I was really looking forward to, the match went like 2 or 3 minutes. Aiden English beat him very quickly, and I'm just like, is that it? You know, all that build you gave this match, all that build you gave to this feud, and you're just going to give us a 2 to 3 minute match, which Aiden English wins very easily? You know, just, to me, as a person who was quite invested in the feud, was very, very disappointing. That's all I will say about this. Hopefully they'll try and make up for it on the future shows. I think we could all see where this Cesaro-Sami Zayn stuff was going. The February 27th show is coming up, and they need some big matches on there to get people watching and interested in NXT. So it was no surprise, really, in my opinion, when that endpoint ended up getting there in this segment. You know, I'm not sure why this whole segment was necessary, as Cesaro has already said no to Sami Zayn on various times, but hell, I'm not complaining. A promo segment on a show which is generally wrestling heavy, so it's something different, and it's involving Cesaro and Sami Zayn, two of my favourite superstars on NXT. You know, and a nice little story they're playing here with Sami Zayn, as I've said in previous video. He just can't move on from the win. He just doesn't know what went wrong. It's stopping him moving on in his career. You know, it's a really interesting storyline of, you know, trying to fight an uphill battle, trying to, you know, get that one elusive win, which is going to help you continue onwards. And then you get Cesaro coming out basically saying that nothing he could have done would have made a difference, and he is just plain better. And, you know, you have Zayn trying to sort of talk him into one more match. And I did like how they kind of were going to agree it, and you had Sami Zayn play to the crowd by doing the pinky promise, which I thought was a good little move on Sami Zayn's part, which was obviously inaudible. And they went to do the pinky promise, and Sami Zayn just kicked him in that injured knee and said no. But it didn't end there, folks, because Triple H knows what's best for business. I mean, Triple H comes out and makes the match between Cesaro and Sami Zayn for the live February 27th show, which is going to be airing on the WWE Network. And I was sitting there thinking, oh, I like this match. I like this match. They're probably not going to be able to top their last match because it's just going to be a normal singles match, but it should still be a damn good match. But when has Triple H really started caring about what the fans think? Does this ring a bell? Didn't you get what you wanted? So when has he started caring what the fucking fans want? Isn't he supposed to be a heel? Don't know. Why not have JBL come out and make this? He's the general manager. No, I'm just saying, it's just these little things I pick up on sometimes. Cesaro and Sami Zayn should be a damn good match on the 27th show, even though it will not be main eventing. So we had a segment involving CJ Parker where he just dispatches of a jobber in a very quick fashion, and you know they're actually addressing the boos for CJ Parker now. It's really funny because CJ Parker cut a promo saying that he, you know, drives a Prius that does 40 miles to the gallon, he recycles, he's trying to do his best for Mother Earth, but I think we found out on this show that the NXT universe doesn't care about CJ Parker's nature ways, and they just do not like a goody two-shoes, do they? The main event segment on the show involving Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family really just screamed to me it was a dark match main event segment which was there to send the fans home happy, which kind of just got aired on NXT because they had a little bit of time to fill and they wanted to put someone on there who's recognizable like the Wyatt family. That's kind of how this felt to me. You know, that's how it felt. Maybe it wasn't, it's just kind of how it felt. I mean, I don't remember NXT hyping this up. You know, if it's the Wyatt family, you'd think NXT would want to hype this up the week before. Say, next week, the Wyatt family. Maybe, you know, maybe I just missed something. You know, I don't know. Maybe I did. Sometimes I skip through little filler segments on the show, and maybe I missed the announcement. So maybe they did, and I just missed it. It's happened a couple of times now. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments section. So the Wyatt family, of course, made their triumphant return to NXT by dispatching very easily of two jobbers. And basically, Bray Wyatt gets on the mic and says that the NXT will always belong to the Wyatt family. You know, being a heel faction, they generally wouldn't say stuff like this, which is why I think it, to me, was a dark match main event segment, which they just kind of put in on the show anyway. You know, the Wyatt family are always going to get a good reaction. And, you know, if you have the Wyatt family in there who are big players on Raw and SmackDown right now, if you say they're going to be on the show, you know, maybe a couple of people on Raw and SmackDown, you know, the couple, you know, the 3 or 4, 5 million viewers that watch that show may watch NXT. You know, I don't know. And I got to thinking, you know, because the match was very uneventful and the promo was kind of uneventful. It was just kind of nice, it was just a kind of nice, cool sort of pop moment for the crowd. I was thinking, at Elimination Chamber, we're getting the Wyatt family versus the Shield. You know, which to a lot of people, even though it's a heel versus heel faction, is a very interesting match. You know, it's the two most dominant heel factions in quite some time. I'm not counting the Nexus or the Core here, guys. Going at it in 3-on-3 tag team action. So I was thinking here, why not have the Ascension face the Wyatt family at some point? Doesn't have to be for the titles. You know, screw the titles. You know, Wyatt family could go over the Ascension. I don't care. You don't need to put the tag titles on the line. Would love to see the match between the two most dominant tag teams in NXT right now. You know, because let's face it, Ascension haven't got any credible challengers right now. And the Ascension versus the Wyatt family would be a great, you know, spectacle match, in my opinion. These two very unique, dark, creepy gimmicks going at it at some point. You know, and the crowd are going to rally behind the Wyatt family, so you don't need to worry about the crowd not being invested in the match. And it would be an interesting one. You know, it's just an idea I'm going to put out there. Maybe they'll put it on the February 27th live show, and the Ascension will say, no, NXT is theirs or something in a future show. I don't know. but it sounds like a damn good idea to me if they're also going to be doing the Wyatt family versus the Shield. My thoughts on this show this week, it was okay. You know, they're building up, the segments that were there to build up to the February 27th show were pretty good. Sami Zayn and Cesaro had a good segment in my opinion. It was nice seeing the Wyatt family, even though the segment was kind of pointless and felt like a dark match segment in my opinion. You know, we had some solid Divas action in there. The biggest disappointment of the night will be Colin Cassidy versus Aiden English, which I thought was going to be a nice competitive feud-ending match and just ended up being a very quick, disappointing way to possibly end what I feel is a very interesting feud. So if you have any comments on the show, please comment them in the comment section below. And make sure you check out Brandon Stroud's Best and Worst of NXT column. This guy is very, very good when it comes to reviewing and analyzing NXT. And make sure you check out the D-Line podcast, which will also be in the description box below. Thank you very much for watching this review if you have, guys, and goodbye.